Hello everyone, I bring to you today a Fog game from the Global League. And it is an interesting matchup of COs. And before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about the map because it is a new map. It's from the new rotation, which is, new from like a couple of months ago. The rotations happen every few months, but it is a new map. And it was originally made by Pinwheel, if I'm not mistaken. Had a slightly different name, and the layout was a little bit different. It had like more forests over here. I'll try to put it on screen, but after some testing, we did some reviews, and Raizo worked on doing this new version. So it looks quite more choky than your average fog map, right? It looks smaller. You'll have this setup where infantry can walk pretty fast, which is something that I kind of like. And then you have these piped off airports, so they're gonna be a little bit delayed, and you also have to make an artillery to break it, which is gonna take you 2 turns to put into place, plus 2 or 3 shots to break out. Then you have to capture it, and only then can you make a copter. And all of this is visible by the opponent, so the opponent can prepare an anti-air in response to all of this because you can check the HP of the pipes. So there's an interesting dynamic there, and deciding when to open it and when to respond with an anti and stuff like that. And it's also very forward, so it's like as soon as this gets captured and there's a copter, it will be attacking this area. Now, how does this map generally play out? This is going to be your weaker side. This base is going to be responsible for trying to keep control of this area, and these 2 bases are going to try to flood over here. So the most contested areas are gonna be this area right here, this whole like side and this little corner, as well as this side and this corner over here. There isn't much to fight for in the middle, but you do have these pipes right here and these double forests and another double forest. There's like so many forests and pipe tiles, right? So you can definitely set up a defense here if the other person decides to, death ball in the middle, but there's nothing really in the middle of value. I guess you could technically kind of like move forward and try to split their army and go for an HQ. You do have this little silo tile, so you can attack onto there. You have this black ball defending, so it's gonna be tricky. But in a later game, you can definitely go for the HQ once the black ball is taken care of. These com towers are very contested. Usually this base will try to get it first. You try to get these properties pretty fast, and then this 2 base. What I always tell you guys is the infantry flood. The infantry flood from the 2 bases is going to move forward slowly, and you're going to have like 8 infantry or something like that moving like this, boom, boom, moving like in the blocks. And it's going to be very hard for this base to stop that avalanche of infantry. And so there's going to be that dynamic, maybe, going for the corners and back and what do you do, blah, blah, blah. So let's get into the match slowly. Let's talk a little bit about the players meanwhile. And let's change these colors. I think I'm gonna make you in Amber Blaze. Let's do that. And so we have 2 high-level players. We got Get Good, which is Quacker Duck. It's Quacker Duck's alt, and Quacker Duck is a really good player. With his alt, he got to number 1 in the fog ladder really quickly, and this is now kind of, instead of his alt, it's like his main. And we have this infantry now, the FTA infantry moving, looking to the left. There's something particular about this map in that this player, so player number 2, has to go for the base with this infantry, which is the Fred infantry, the first starting one, while player 1 can decide either to send the weak side infantry to capture it or the strong side infantry to go capture it. So there's that difference. But we have Get Good or Quacker Duck in Rachel, a very interesting pick, not seen too often in Fog, and especially in a 3 base map, but because usually you'll see her in base light. But here I think it's definitely viable because it is small, it's kind of tight. There's like these tight little areas that you're gonna bunch up your units in, and so it can become tricky to bait those missiles from Rachel. And if she can land some good missiles and break through, take out all your unit count, it'll be awesome for her. And then we have a chest that I don't know a lot from this player, but it's also pretty high rated. I think over 1300, so solid player with Kindle. So we're gonna have the aggressive versus more stallier CO in the matchup. So, and as I say that, we're gonna see Kindle go for a recon, day 3 recon, which is like the most aggressive opening that you could go for. And it's gonna make it over here on the 2 base side. It's definitely gonna cost you because your 3rd infantry here would have want to go and capture these 2 cities, so it's gonna cost you money. So ideally, this recon is gonna try to get some damage in. We're gonna get these little black bolt boosts. This is very important. I notice a lot of players not using this, and this is very important because you boost this infantry, and then now you're in range of these 2, the com tower and the city. If not, it takes you another turn to get them. And you know what happens if you wait another turn? It's gonna get interrupted. So very important to get that little boosty here to get these 2 properties. Let's see what Get Good decides to open. You could go for recon, you could go for tank, maybe APC. Probably not. It's kind of a small map, but hey, I don't know. If you come up with a good APC opening here, props to you. But no. Get Good is gonna open with an artillery, so definitely looking to break this pipe seam pretty early on and to get those copters out. You got your definitely more aggressive opening against your more greedy opening. And there you go, we got the other infantry getting boosted over here. It's gonna go for the city right here. Another thing is you could also bust these seams. I've never seen anyone break these. I think from over here, like this army would maybe want to open it to try to facilitate this flip of the city. But it's like, I don't know, it's like maybe, because you could also have an infantry and have an artillery behind it, and then this artillery is invincible. You can just stick a few infantry here. It's there's no way you're breaking through that artillery. But I think maybe it kind of helps reinforcing like this to go towards the HQ. It saves you from, it doesn't save you from any forest really. So yeah, I'm not sure. It just kind of opens up maybe a few more tactics. But I feel like it would be something that the 1 base would not want and something that the 2 base would maybe want. And so another thing is that this is 2 base, 1 airport. So it's definitely you're gonna notice the strength of this side. And it's tricky because it's kind of like tight quarters, there's not a lot of room here. And it's a little bit hard to front switch over because of these pipes and these forests and this mountain. If you're not front switch to over here, you're gonna have to go all the way to the back. So an interesting little smaller type of map in Fog, which is 3 base as well. And Achesta is gonna go for another recon. This time, so day 3 and day 5 recon. So definitely going for a very aggressive type of opening, and then all infantry. And Get Good as the artillery and also made a mech as well. Maybe to help break this pipe a little bit earlier, because you get 2 shots with artillery and a mech shot and you break this open. And there we go. We're also gonna get these little black boats boosting. We're gonna start this capture right here, and this guy's gonna go for the com tower. I usually like to go for the com tower first, just like Achest did, because it is extremely contested. If you don't get this com tower like Achest did really fast, you're not getting it from the 1 base. It is so hard. The avalanche from over here is pretty real. So after these 2, Get Good is now gonna make a tank on the weak side to try to defend from possible harassment of recons, but he doesn't know that there are recons. But you should always expect that. I mean, I guess not, but still, it's definitely good when you get those tanks on your 1 base. Try to defend from some harassment of from these 2 base recons. This is a day 3 recon though, so it kind of has to get some damage in to pay for itself. So let's see if it can actually achieve it. Can definitely go for over here. Boom, there you go. Oh, actually drops it down to 4. Wow. Is that a roll? That has to be a roll. I thought it usually leaves it down to 5. Wow. But that's pretty big, because if it's at 5, it takes you 2 turns to get it. Now at 4, it's going to take you 3 turns. So that's a pretty big deal. This recon getting, 2k worth of damage or more because of the damage the infantry and the repairs and stuff like that. So really decent, plus getting some vision. A chest doesn't know yet if there maybe is a tank over here, so maybe this tank will die. But that recon is not gonna get hit. Get Good is still gonna go for that comm tower, keep pushing this infantry forward. But this tank doesn't reach. Look at it, it's just one tile away from that 4 HP infantry and the comm tower infantry. So, and it's gonna get a shot here on the pipe seam with the artillery, and the mech moves forward. So this timing of the artillery and the mech is definitely to break this really fast, but it also reveals information. And fog is all about intel and information. And in the early game, it's really important. I mean, in every stage it's important, but here it's like crucial because you get to know whether you're opening or how far you can push your opening. So seeing that Get Good shot here with this artillery tells you that, okay, they went for artillery first, so they're not gonna have the income to have a tank over here. And so that means that this recon, if a chest is paying attention and checks the pipe scene and calculates the funding and whatever, should tell you, okay, there's no way, it's not possible for Get Good to have a tank like in range of these two. And so I can get away with another shot, either shooting at this guy or shooting at this one. So we'll see what chest decides to do. We also got this recon over here and also going for an artillery now. So it doesn't have any tanks. Just went double recon and an artillery now to try to break this seam. Interesting that chest made this artillery before seeing that Get Good went for the artillery. So without knowing really the opening from Get Good. So interesting. Well, both players definitely prioritizing this airport, one earlier than the other one. And the chest is gonna get both of these, the city and the recon, the city and the comm tower. We're also gonna go and to KO this infantry on the city, because again, you see the shots here, there's no way that a tank is gonna be over here. Like, this is the earliest tank that Get Good can have because of this artillery shot. And it can only be one turn away from any base. And if it's over here or over here, it's not gonna reach these guys, and definitely not this guy. So Get Good getting greedy, Get Good getting greedy by revealing this and going for these forward captures, all of these in range of this recon. It's just asking for trouble, asking to get shot there. So yeah, there we're gonna get away with killing this guy and getting another intel. So getting a lot of value from these early recons by a chest. So definitely very solid. And we're gonna join cap here to try to finish this. Now brings the tank like in vision of the recon, right? Now why would you do that? I guess one reason is that it's kind of obvious that there would be a tank already. You could definitely hide it in these forests and still cover everything. But I think the reasoning is that this tank is here so that if the recon shoots again here onto this guy, then Get Good doesn't need another unit to get vision of the recon to shoot at it, because the recon would already be in vision of the tank. So I think that's the reasoning behind this. We're gonna get these shots, and actually doesn't go for the mech finishing the pipe seam here. Instead, we're just gonna put the mech over here. I bet this recon caught Get Good a little bit off guard. So just getting some damage in is gonna also be able to really get these captures. It's gonna get this capture, probably gonna get this city in the corner. I don't think that Get Good is gonna be able to get this city over here. It's gonna be really tricky, but a chest here, gonna have to pull back. This is your one base. There's no support. There's no tank or whatsoever. And also bringing an artillery. I would have to check back, but I'm gonna assume this is because of funding. So you had like 14k, and so you make tank, artillery, infantry. But no, I actually like artillery on the one base on this map, because you can put it over here, or either here or here, and you lock down these two properties, which is really nice. So you can kind of set up a little defense over here, locking these down. So that is definitely a good build. But that second artillery from the one base, that's a little, I don't know, a little questionable, I guess. At least by my part. We're gonna take this guy out, which was used to finish the guy in the com tower. And it just doesn't go for the kill with the recon. Just gonna leave it here in the city to block any possible captures. But the reason behind the artillery, we're gonna see in a second. But I'm not sure if I would make a lot of artilleries on your weaker side when you're against Rachel, because you know what her super does. And if you're gonna, if you have a lot of artillery and you want them to defend and get them set up right, you have to bunch up units and protect them. You're gonna have a bunch of bunched up units, and then how are you gonna divert those missiles? But we'll have to see. So we're gonna make another artillery and another mech. Wow, Gekko really liking those mechs over here. And so Chess is gonna go for this corner city. Actually gets this one and gets this one that Gekko doesn't. So really ahead on that capture game, just from the early harassment of these recons. Gonna even engage over here, which actually, luckily for a chest, there's nothing covering this. So a little bit of a risky gamble by a chest to take these two out and then attack with a recon. But it's a little bit of an informed gamble because you DC these two tanks with this recon. So at least the second tank from Gekko is not over here. And I don't know, maybe it could have been, there could be another one here. There's so many mechs. So a little bit of a gamble, but it's gonna pay off. And so this is gonna keep, how do you say, crippling the forces, the avalanche from Gekko. There's a few infantry over here in the middle. Not sure what this guy is doing. Maybe wanted to go for the city. But now we start to see this accumulation of infantry, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and more to go, because there's gonna be one coming every single turn. And then this base is gonna be really, really strapped for infantry. I mean, you do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's quite a bit. But as you start making vehicles every single turn from the one base to defend, and you start losing your infantry, it's gonna be really tricky. You can see it here from Gekko. Like he has 1, 2, 3 infantry, and he still has to capture this com tower. It's like you're just not gonna get that com tower pretty much because as Kindle you're just gonna sacrifice your infantry to interrupt, and then at a certain point there's not gonna be any more infantry to capture. So, and then Gekko is gonna finally get that airport, which seemed to be the whole play from that early artillery. I'm gonna get the 2-hit KO here and sit with a tank on that city to prevent any Kindle attacks, because if you had an infantry here, then you can do the recon infantry, take it out, and then this tank attacks this tank, and that would hurt a lot. So I take that guy out, start this capture, and you know that Kindle's gonna try to interrupt that, as this recon does have vision of it. Attack a few guys over here, and this artillery is exposed to this recon, but I don't think it'd be worth it to attack it. Probably just send it back and keep having vision. Honestly, these recons on these sides, they provide so much vision because the fronts are kind of small. Like you just have one recon here and you can see everything. Like you need just one here. Like in this forest is fine, or this forest right here, and you can kind of see everything. Or even sitting them like on one of these cities or properties, they can already see everything over here. They give you all that information. Like look at the vision that HS has, right? Like before moving the recon, he sees these two tanks, these 3 infantry, and sees the artillery, the mechs, this tank as well. So it has really good information, and with good information you can have a more informed attack. Actually gets that KO there, wow. With an 8 HP recon, okay. This must be a roll, but gets the kill there. Not that it really matters too much. I'm gonna set up a defense now, I'm gonna pull back. Can't really keep on attacking here. And you're gonna want those, that unit count to defend these artilleries. And you probably wouldn't want to extend any further, like maybe this city, but definitely not right now. I think you're definitely happy to have this corner one, this one, which is really greedy, and then these 3 secure. And then you can set up artillery behind here. Probably let this one fall eventually, because you got the airport as well coming out. And actually gonna use the recon to interrupt over here. Gonna kill that guy. That other one And now there's no more infantry for Get Good. Look at that. Those city guys, one is gone and two are injured. So now we bring this artillery. So like they got the little blobs blocking off this tank, staring at it, and the artillery pointing right there. And it is a Kindle artillery on a city too. And if it doesn't shoot at a tank, it can also break this open. That's gonna be really, really nice. We're gonna make some anti-airs because, because of the timing. Because this turn, Get Good is gonna make a copter, so you gotta get that anti-air in position to defend everything. So very nicely done. We're gonna get a recon here. The first recon from Get Good, that recon is gonna die. So no more recons here from a chest. And I'm gonna join here, and now there's no more infantry. So I just could kind of sacrifice stuff here to permanently deny this comp tower. And I'm gonna get a little tap there on that infantry and get these two artilleries locking there. Boom. So any tank, any Kindle tank that decides to attack here from the city is gonna get blasted by these two artilleries. And maybe they wanna also break the seam. I don't know. We'll have to see. But now we got the copters. Now Get Good is getting that setup going. So many mechs too. He's loving that little mech chain. And this base is pretty decent for mechs. I wouldn't say it's the best, but again, the front is kind of small. There isn't much of a front shifting, and mechs kind of like that. They just go forward. They stand behind your infantry or next to your artilleries, and they will eventually shoot at something. So they're pretty decent. The only thing is that they take a little bit, quite a bit of time. Like 1, 2, 3, maybe a third turn. It can be shooting at something on that city. 3 or 4 turns. A tank is gonna take 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so similar, but just maybe 1 turn later than tank. So not bad. And we're actually gonna get we're gonna blow up this pipe seam. No infantry in position to capture the airport though. I'm gonna get a big Kindle shot there onto this tank. Probably finish it up with a few infantry, and we're gonna interrupt that capture, although it needs a little bit more because it's at 6 HP and comp tower is at 4, but doesn't have the tiles available to do so. So that comp tower is gonna get captured by Get Good finally. That's gonna bring the firepower to even. They're both gonna be at 110, but after all this brawling and now the avalanche getting set up by Get Good, HS has to pull back, gets the artillery in position to lock the cities, even this one protecting the artillery or locking the tiles behind the properties so that you can blow it up. Like if something's covering, you take it out and then you interrupt. But we're getting close to those powers, so you gotta be careful. Let's get double tank infantry. There are 2 anti-airs. One is like over here. And the other one's being sent like towards the middle in case, I guess, this copter goes like that. So being very cautious of the copter spam and having one in every point where the copters can go. So again, the copters can be really dangerous here. We're gonna start this capture here with a 9 HP infantry, so it's gonna take 3 turns. Not much of a threat just now, but what I was saying in the intro, you got the artillery behind this. It's like there's nothing you can do to that artillery. And tank is gonna take out that recon. Probably would have been best to, I guess you don't have vision, no? Yeah. So now that he gets the vision, he can blow that recon up, but that recon did spot this artillery. I guess it's fine. I get a few pokes over here, and we're gonna take out that infantry. It is in range of this artillery though, and pull back that recon. Happy to get that comp tower probably. And we got the little mech stair over here, and the copter is actually gonna do that. It's actually gonna go towards the middle instead of this front, which would be too obvious. But a chest does have an anti-air ready, so we're gonna get that copter chain going. It seems like, and you gotta be careful now because Kindle has the Urban Blight. Now, interesting that Urban Blight is used. Seems like more so to interrupt captures than anything else, because there's no like tank attack onto these from a city, Remember, silos don't give Kindle extra firepower. So I think that's probably it. We're gonna... Ooh, doesn't get the KO there. I think that's not even a roll. Like, that's just not possible. You cannot... Oh wait, no, it was at 9. It was at 9, so maybe, yeah. I just know that Kindle Urban Blight on a unit in a city and then hitting it with the same unit doesn't KO it. Like, say it's a tank, you're not gonna kill it. And even if you add another infantry to it, like say it's a tank, I think it's a roll, but a very unlikely roll. I'm gonna get a hit here. Again, no firepower boost. Although this one does get... Whoa, what? Wow, okay. I did not think that was gonna kill that recon. But yeah, that anti-air Kindle on a city kills a 9 HP recon on a silo apparently. And yeah, that's about it for the Urban Blight. Not the best Urban Blight, I feel like. Also, this capture wasn't really under threat because it was at 9 HP. This artillery could already shoot at it. And the problem now being is that you got that Rachel super almost locked and loaded. So a few attacks and that super is gonna drop probably all of his positioning. You can see this artillery is over here as well as the anti-air. I mean, they get a kill. You are revealing the 2 anti-airs though, but luckily for a chest there isn't anything to take these anti-airs out, it seems like, as both tanks for Gekko went down. And yeah, it's just spread out formation, right? Anti-air here, artillery, these 2 guys, this guy. Probably value would land somewhere over here with a black boat. It sort of helps to have the black boat to divert the missiles, but at the same time it is your weak side, so it's like, do you really want to divert it there? It's tricky. So we're gonna get a few hits here, just taking out infantry mostly, and it's gonna get enough charge for a covering fire. So 2 of them are gonna land here actually. Look at that, really nice. And then the infantry one is gonna land here, damaging this recon. So it is gonna injure these guys as well, hitting us this tank, and then it hit a few vehicles. So not a bad covering fire at all. Okay, I'm gonna just injure it so that this copter can get a shot there, and almost breaks this pipe seam, but not yet. This copter is probably, yeah, it's gonna go towards the middle since this one is very injured, but it just did make another one, so that copters can't get away with too much. But look at how many infantry, right? I mean, even saying that the unit count is looking very even. They're both 26, 27. Unit value wise, it's looking better for a chest. He is definitely ahead on the income, and it's because these 2 cities are captured, right? And Gekko doesn't have them. And then we have these 2, and then you have this one. So it'd be 3k? Wait, I'm missing something. Oh, because of the airport. Yeah, okay. So I got 3k ahead with these 2 and this one, and then -1 with the airport. So puts a chest 2k ahead in income. So as long as he can keep the income high or above and keeps brawling and trading, it should be overall good for Kindle. That's definitely something that he can do. It's definitely a strategy as being as the more aggressive CO. And especially against someone like Kindle that is not necessarily like global damage, which is really hard to deal with. And they excel really good at brawling as well, because they'll get the better end at brawling. With Rachel, you can kind of brawl it out, and then the missiles land, and you kind of like just keep it trading down, and then the powers are gonna become more expensive. But Achess is gonna take out this recon. Doesn't go for the tank attack over here. He's actually just gonna take out the recon, and then start this capture with 7 HP and just a bunch of injured units. Just covering this artillery. We're gonna clear out some of these injured infantry into that mech capture. Mechs are not the best at capturing stuff because you kind of want them at shooting at stuff. Like, they cost more, right? So you kind of want it to be shooting at vehicles, and it's also, you usually don't have a lot of mechs to join cap, so it's easy to interrupt a mech capture. even if it means like going with an infantry and getting this kind of really bad trade, it's still really positive because they're just not gonna get that city. So now let's get Good's turn. Behind on unit value and unit count, definitely lost all the army over here. There's only one single tank, kind of out of vision, doesn't know, like it could hit something here, but maybe there's an artillery behind, so you just never know. So this artillery, this tank definitely has to run back, and there's nothing to like coming to protect it as well. Like there's no tank over here. This one's not gonna be in time. You have to like kind of front switch this guy or this one as well, but definitely made to go towards the middle, not over here. So let's see. We're gonna take that guy out, start a capture over here in the city with a mech, and we're gonna get a poke there with a copter into that tank, take that out. Probably gonna try to injure that anti-air, and boom, use it at 3. So that's pretty nice. Although there is a city right here, so this is gonna do quite a bit of damage. Probably like 5 HP damage to this copter. We're gonna finish off that guy, which was at 1, right next to a lab though. Ooh, that is definitely very. I mean, you see the tank, right? Like, look at that. Unless you put this guy here on this lab, or I guess that. But that's definitely a gamble. This is just asking for trouble. This over here, boom, and some other tank here, boom. Unless there was this artillery on this forest, like locking down that lab. And oh, this tank taking out this 2 HP tank, but it's gonna get taken down by this artillery. Oof. I feel like Get Good just getting greedy. Just probably that's the general approach from him in this match, is definitely being quite greedy with the openings, captures, and the attacks in general, and most of the times not getting away with it. Like that tank, oof. That was like, you took out 2 HP of a tank and then you lost 9 HP of a tank. Horrible. And now it's like no vision, no tank whatsoever in this area at all. Now that's gonna go down. Urban Blight maybe? Okay, Urban Blight to get that extra attack onto this copter. First thing, boom, this is at 3 HP. I mean, talk about value right there. 3 HP artillery, anti-air dealing 7 HP damage to a copter is insane. And even that, boom, you got that extra firepower. Oof. And this guy reaches from over here, just gonna absolutely destroy these forces from Get Good. Oof, getting absolutely wrecked. It's just the little tactical opportunities that Kindle has. It's insane. And I mean, it's crazy because Kindle, I feel like for a time, a few months ago, everyone was just picking Drake in Fog, which, you know, makes sense. I guess at the time also there was these really large maps and everything. It's like global damage, global damage. In tier 2, everyone's just picking Olaf. Just super boring, you know. But in tier 3, there's mostly Drake, maybe Andy. But it's interesting to see people, you know, pick Kindle, Rachel, just like different picks. You could even try to pick Lash here, I don't know. You got a lot of units. It's not that big of a map. You got a lot of silos next to properties and forests as well, so you can definitely get that firepower boost going. But we're gonna finish off that guy finally. We're gonna attempt to get this capture, which I think is guaranteed to get, because there's nothing in range to stop it, and there's no tanks over here, so we're gonna attempt and fail to take out this guy. But yeah, there's just a lot of tanks, a lot of injured stuff, and soon Get Good will get those missiles. And a chest is kind of running out of infantry. There's quite a few over here that are very damaged. So, but they're also gonna want to be capturing stuff, so it's gonna be tricky to bait those Rachel missiles. Didn't seem like he baited the first missiles, like a little bit, but not like very, very actively. If you've seen my video with Jet Tarquin and Atrubos, where Atrubos was like baiting those missiles every single turn just in case the missiles were used. Although it does seem over here like the spread out formation is being done. You can see retreating and putting everything a little bit spread out so as to bait a little bit. You got the probably the infantry missile is gonna land over here because there's 3 of them. And the value maybe over here because of the black boat, and HP as well here. You got 5. So we'll see. It's like you have to pull back, redistribute your units all spread out so as to avoid getting rocked by those missiles. And that's the opportunity that Rachel has to move forward. Move forward, put pressure. But Get is behind on army and on income. It's now 3k behind, soon to be 4 income behind. So it's gonna be tricky to actually make use of this super, of like holding that super. And once again attacking. What did we kill here? A tank. Okay. Boom. Gonna allow that hit there. It is charged for Rachel to get closer to that super. So maybe that's a bit of the intent. Like I take out a 6 HP tank. There's also now this artillery locking down that lab. And it's also not it's not a Kindle city. It's just a lab. So it's a little bit less ideal for Kindle. But this artillery will be able to do a lot of damage, probably leave it at 5, I think, and then finish it off with another tank and just keep that going. These forests and pipes makes it really hard to break through and attack this artillery. And HS is also gonna attempt to go for these 2 captures instead of staying back. Oh yeah, you have your super ready. I'm just gonna sit back and bait the missiles. He's like, you know what? I'm just gonna go all in, attack multiple areas, so you're not gonna be able to interrupt like everything. I'm ahead on army, value, income, everything. Instead of like slowing down the game in Rachel's favor right now. And although values are very small, like 100k, 60k value, it's small value. It's not like 150 or 200,000. And that's kind of, I feel like a good approach when you're the more aggressive CO in the matchup. It's very tricky and it's very easy to be scared of these powers, even if it were like a Drake, you're like, oh, I have to sit back and try to hold the, like, not jump into an attack and then get wrecked by a super or whatever, but just keeping that pressure going and making sure to keep the tempo. They have more army and just forcing more fights. Like there's these 2 captures which are really important. If you flip this city, it's very easy to put an artillery behind here and the 1 base can just never get that back. So, and actually Get Good decides to use the covering fire. Instead of holding it on, it's gonna land over here, 2 units hit here, 2 missiles hit here. So this copter gets severely injured and these 3 vehicles get hit. Got the black bone out at 1 HP. We're gonna take out that recon with a mech. Gonna get a shot there. This artillery is running out of shots actually. And I'm gonna take those out and we're gonna interrupt this capture. Well, it was already interrupted with a missile. And I'm gonna make an anti-air. You're not having anti-air here. I think Get Good is gonna, the plan was to rely on copters to deal with the Kindle copters, but it can get tricky really fast. You definitely want those anti-airs at a certain point. And then we're gonna break through here to attack with this copter, but to get vision of this force. So very important here now. This tank could have attacked this tank, but the idea is to break through here to have this tile, so this copter can go like this, pop, pop, and hit this tank and get vision at the same time. Important tactics. You can still take out that tank and now you can attack that artillery. But there's another artillery behind here. We're just keeping that pressure going, trying to maintain that income lead. 4k ahead on income and also going for this capture, which is very greedy. You can definitely go for this city because of this 1 forest, like forest and mountain, and so you can easily block this off and force a very awkward attempt to interrupt, if even possible, because you can just get like trapped here and there's no way to break through. So you can definitely go for that, but it's gonna be hard to maintain. Maybe it's also easy to lock. Like if you have an artillery, you put on this city and then it's in range of that, but there's no artillery. And I guess if you flip it and you have control of this area, you can have an artillery on this forest and then just lock down the city. So very tricky. And there's definitely like the fronts and what's contested can move forward or backwards depending on how well you're doing in a front. Doesn't attack this infantry. Oh, because it got boosted, that's why. Got boop. And just gonna heal up. You know that Rachel Super was already used, so you can go and attack stuff. And we're gonna interrupt over here. So just keeping all that pressure going all the time, everywhere, even though a bunch of injured units everywhere, just keep on attacking. And even makes a T-Copter because of the lack of infantry. These are all injured, to speed up these captures. So you can bring this T-Copter here and start bringing these infantry much faster to start to flip stuff. And even, potentially in a few turns, go for an HQ cap to close out the game. So we are gonna take out that tank, gonna get a few shots here, using the copter to deal with a copter. And it doesn't seem like there's any response to the copter. We're just gonna block off over here. And yeah, this tank got trapped over here, so it's not gonna be able to interrupt it. So that is gonna get flipped. This com tower is actually at 6 HP, and now soon to be 2 HP. Look at that, boom. So, eesh. And now I got another Urban Blight, so it's gonna damage just the units on the bases, this mech, and the Blackboard. But I'm pretty sure it's because of the firepower as well. So it's gonna allow this is all going to die right now. Boom. And then boom. And these KOs from Kindle are just disgusting. Like, the best use of an Urban Blight is this, honestly. Just getting a KO with a tank on a tank or copter on copter, just hurts so much. No, actually, copter on copter, I think you get the KO without an Urban Blight. But you get the copter on tank as well, which is really nice. So yeah, all of this is going to die. No more units. That unit count is just dropping like crazy for a chest. I'm gonna use all these tiny, extremely injured units to block off. But because there's no unit count from get-go, there's no way for him to break through, or it makes it really awkward to try to break through and interrupt this. So it seems like a chest is gonna have that 2 com tower, as well as having 6k income. Oof. You know, a lot of people, especially in like the mid levels, they tend to struggle with closing out a game. Oof, with the failed KO there. And I tried to injure some stuff. It seems like. So I was saying, in the mid level, in the mid elo, there's all people that struggle with like closing out a game. Like you have an advantage, and then you don't know how to win, and then maybe you just like overextend. You just keep pushing somewhere, and then you die. But I think Chest here is doing a really great job at that, like closing out the game. Trying to go for those next objectives. Like, okay, I have the lead. Okay, I need to keep going. I need to keep going. Keep the aggression going. I can't slow down the game. I just need to keep pressing these advantages. I have the income lead. I'm gonna now have the 2 com tower lead. I'm gonna then go for this city. I could even go for the HQ later. Potentially later on, go for these guys, for these cities. Try to block, get some vision, block stuff over here. There's no infantry though, so it's gonna take a really long time to get that stuff to capture this. I think the focus is more so over here, trying to close out. I mean, there's a really great closing out objective right here. So I think that's the whole plan right now. Got the double com tower, gonna now go for this city. So having that solid plan of what to do next to win the game, because you're not gonna win just by having an advantage. You need to close out the game. You know, it's gonna now make a stealth as well. Look at this huge blob of blobs, just blocking everything. And it's gonna make a stealth now. That big income advantage, army advantage, everything. It's gonna really, again, try to finish off the game. Yeah, stealth is expensive, but it requires a fighter to counter it. Get-Go doesn't have money to make a fighter, so we're gonna break through here and attack this artillery and interrupt here. I'm gonna set up a little thing over here, take out that recon. But yeah, probably scared because you got these cities out there in the dark, unprotected. But luckily for Get-Go, there is no infantry here for a chest to flip these. So at least he gets to hold these for a bit longer. And now that copter is gonna go down. It looks like this T-Copter is actually gonna be used not to bring infantry over here, but instead to bring it over here. Very interesting. Just gonna use all these all these super injured infantry to join cap and block. Gonna take out finally that black boat, injure here. Gonna hide that stealth out of range of the tank. Gonna get that Urban Blight to, I think, do some damage to the anti to take it out with a tank. And that is it, just a block. Just block everything. Try to guarantee this capture over here. Pushing that advantage. You can even close out a game with a capture limit, you know? Not sure what the capture limit is on this map, but say you get this one. Chess does have this one as well, but maybe you get these two, maybe this one, and that's it, you just win. It's around, I think it's like 70% of the income of the map is the capture limit in general. And that also makes an APC because to refuel the stealth. But something that a lot of people don't realize that sometimes if you have a black bolt, like these pre-deployed black bolts, you don't really need an APC. You can use the stealth a few turns, boom, 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 shoot a few things, then bring it back one turn, and you just refuel it with a black bolt. Like, might as well, no? It's there. But we'll see. Maybe the stealth wants to be in this area. I'm not sure. But this is looking really, really solid for a chest. Get Good needs like a miracle covering fire, which maybe it can happen, but with this much value difference, I think a chest can definitely divert the missiles and unit count. Like, look, you can just bunch up all these infantry and you can bait a few of the missiles over here. You're gonna go for a little HQ capture here, which is not gonna go through, but it keeps forcing Get Good to keep attacking, you know, into this favorable trades. Also, like, you have the stealth. Like, if you attack over here, the stealth is gonna be attacking at stuff. Gonna take that out, gonna sort of like block the airport and like get vision and try to force a fight over here. Could even bring this, yeah, bring the artillery there. So it's gonna sit on that city. This other one's also on the city. This all could get hit by the missiles though, but we'll see. We'll see what the missiles can do this next turn. The income difference, 8k. Unit value difference is triple. Triple the unit value. And the unit count is, I think, also like about triple. It is insane, the difference. You need a miracle right here for Get Good to flip this over. You need like the best covering fire ever, but there's just not a lot of units. You only have 14 units, so your tactics available are going to be very little. Like here, you have 2 tanks, and you have 2 tanks, 2 artillery. What can you do? You see both artillery too. Like, what are you gonna do here? Are you gonna hit both tanks? Then you lose both tanks. And like, if they have 4 or 5 vehicles and you have 2, and you send your 2 vehicles to take 2 of them out, now they have 3, for example. But then you lose your 2, then it's 0 against 3. It's no longer 2 against 5, it's 0 against 3. Like, you need vehicles. So this is definitely a fight that Get Good does not want to get into. It'll be a losing fight for sure. Gonna interrupt that HQ capture. We'll see if Get Good can hang on over here. See what can the missiles do. Ooh, okay. Wow, I thought that HP was gonna land here, but because the infantry lands first and it brings these down to 1, that means that these don't count as HP. Like, they don't count for the HP missile. So maybe that was a slight oversight by a chest. So that means that the HP missile landed here as well as the value one. Will a chest be bringing this back? Oof. So, gonna take that out, gonna even take that tank out. So now these tanks, like, now this army is nothing. Is Get Good gonna bring this back maybe? No. Get Good decides it's too much, taps out, and resigns. GG to a chest. Really great game. Really good display of just aggression, and moving and flexibility going to one side to another. I was very concerned about the double artillery on the one base by a chest against Rachel. Like, I do like the artillery here though, because you can lock down these properties once you get them early, you lock them down and you make it really awkward for the opponent to try to get them. But double artillery and trying to bunch up, it was very apparent that it became awkward. Like, I think that was the strategy. Like, yeah, I'm gonna just do 2 artillery, lock this down, and then all of a sudden, what was it, like over here before the first super? It's like, okay, yeah, like I have all these units. If I just bunch this up like this, the covering fire is gonna land here, and I'm just gonna get absolutely destroyed. Like, you got this, nice, but imagine all this was also here. Then boom, 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 you got the 3 missiles landing here because you have so many infantry and value and HP, and then you just get wrecked. Getting hit by 3 missiles in the same area with your army is a death sentence, because that means that every single unit is at 1 HP. Your infantry or whatever can just shoot at them, takes them out. Shoot at them, takes them out. So it's like disaster. Doesn't even matter what's happening here. If your whole army here gets destroyed by 3 missiles, you're done. But was able to divert them, and even though with all these low HP units, still kept on going for those captures. I think maybe got a little bit greedy with these attacks and went for some trades here. Like this attack here was, I don't know, taking out a 2 HP tank to then get it taken out. I mean, I understand it's because there was nothing here, so it's like, okay, this tank is kind of trapped. If I send it over here to this city, it's just gonna get attacked back. But I think it might be fine because you are Rachel, you heal up. I don't know. It's tricky though. I think really, it was a really great job by Chess to keep that aggression going. It was looking a little bit dubious sometimes because of the covering fire, but I was able to keep putting pressure, using that firepower from Kindle on the cities. And I think the first Urban Blight wasn't very good, but the next ones were really solid. But again, maybe because Get Good was granting those opportunities, maybe thought it was fine because of having these artilleries like stuff in place to still shoot at the stuff that got put in the cities. But just a really great game. Like both really tried to push different strategies and different approaches. You got the mech spam by Get Good early on, didn't work out, and then with a massive income lead and just overwhelming unit, everything, army and value, you count, and then try to keep pushing, making a stealth, going for these flips, going for the HQ, even then using the T-Copter to try to get these, like just going for every single objective to try to close that game out. Really well done by Chest, and just a really great game. So I hope you guys liked this video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.